Hi, Wycliffe Barrett here today, Xplane dedicated. I got a couple of things to tell you about. I'll see you right after the intro.
Zero Bravo Bravo, good afternoon to you. Report your altitude? 2,000 feet.
The things I want to tell you about today is that right now there has never been a better time to be an Xplane dedicated. It's so busy, it's absolutely unbelievable. We've got a couple of things happening. First off, I want to tell you about Xorganiser. Now, Xorganiser, it crept onto xplane.org really quietly, bit of a slow burner. I looked at it and then got onto other stuff, and then I looked at it again, I downloaded it, and this is absolutely, it's incredible, it's fantastic. It is really helpful, so we'll have a look at that. Also, there's Lubyanka Airport, so that's Lima Juliet. I'm going to show you some of that as well. Got some video, got some still photographs as well. And then a little bit of news from Khamsin Studios, khamsinstudios.org. Some news about a new aircraft from them. You may recall that Khamsin Studio, they tend to only do military aircraft, World War II aircraft, so we've got a nice one from them as well. I've got the Xplane dedicated polo shirt on. You can buy these, you can buy hoodies. I've put an advert up on Facebook. I don't make any money out of these whatsoever, so I purchased this myself, and when I bought it, I got the first one, so it was dearer. But you can get in touch with a company that does that and get yourself an Xplane dedicated polo shirt with your name on. So Xorganiser, we get this from xplane.org. You see it here on screen. I've got my web browser open. Xorganiser is Windows based only, I'm afraid. It doesn't work in Mac OS or Linux, just Windows. Install it to your C drive or a hard drive, but don't put it on the hard drive where Xplane is. Not that it would make any difference, but that's just me. I like to keep things separate. You install it, you create a shortcut, and the first time you click on it, it interrogates Xplane and then starts to place everything into order. I've already done that, so it's just opening up. And here you see the interface open right at the beginning. And across the top, you've got tabs in blue, green, grey, and yellow. The blue ones is that you can start Xplane from straight in the application. So you can start Xplane 64-bit or 32-bit. And then there's a couple of other icons across the top there with little bits of information. You'll be able to see those. You can rescan and etc. So the first time you run it, it scans Xplane and it puts everything into order. And then you've got these 4 tabs beneath. So the first tab, which is the one that you can see open here, is all about plugins and scripts. So these are all my plugins. On the left-hand side, in the window pane on the left, is all my plugins. To the right is all my Fly with Lua scripts. And then below that are the Python scripts as well. So plugins and scripts that go with individual plugins, and you can see all the plugins there in order, so that it orders them, it puts them in the right order within the application. It also puts them in the right order within Xplane as well, which is really clever. That is the clever part about it. As you can see, it's a typical folder file structure, typical Windows folder file structure. So if there's an X next to it, as there is here, you can look at it. You can open it up and look at it. This is custom scenery. So this tab is all your custom scenery. So custom scenery includes, of course, custom airports. And what they've done here is to put all the airports in alphabetically, but by country. So all of that first list that I've opened there, that I'm looking at, those are countries. And within each of those will be the sceneries associated, or the airports associated with the country. Yeah, I just opened up one there. I can't see which one this was because the writing's too small from where I'm looking at the moment. But you open them up and you see the country. Let's scroll down and have a look at the United Kingdom, because I think that's going to be quite large. Yep, there we go. There's all my UK airports. So yeah, quite a few there. But it puts it all into order. And this is really clever. And not only does it put it into order, it sorts out your scenery ini file as well. And the scenery ini file, as we well know, is really, if you don't know what you're doing, it's really difficult to manage to get it all into order. Okay, so just looking through a couple of other things here, we've got libraries underneath, and libraries is really good. Just have a look in the library one here, don't forget it's a typical folder file structure. So you have a folder and lots of files inside. There is all of my libraries, all the custom libraries that I use. And I didn't realize it was so many, but seeing them like that, laid out alphabetically. And if you download another one, if you download another library and install it, and you click on rescan Xplane, it'll rescan Xplane, put it in the right order within the scenery ini file, and away you go. So, I think this application is absolutely beautiful. It is so clever in what it does, and I think really that for anybody who's got Xplane and has a number of sceneries, they should be downloading this. As I say, it crept onto xplane.org, and when I last looked, it hadn't had many downloads. My advice to you is go and download this now, because once you've downloaded this, you'll be so happy because it is so useful. It is so intuitive. The folder file structure is so intuitive to all of us who've used Windows or Macs. Unfortunately, it doesn't work for Mac or Linux yet, but I believe it will be supported in the near future. It's freeware, so it's got to be good. The guy who built it, he built it as an exercise for himself initially and just released it to the community. My recommendation, go and download it. You can get information on airports as well. Absolutely brilliant. And I can't say any more about it. I think it's just superb. So we'll move on.
A few moments later.
Once again, we're looking at a freeware airport here. This is absolutely stunning. This is Lubyanka International Airport, LJLJ, Lima Juliet. Just a few screenshots here. Really blends into the countryside well. Looks really, really good. I've got some video footage that I took also. We'll have a quick look at that in a few moments. But having a look at it, it's really blended into the countryside well. There's some really nice realization of trees. There are some custom buildings with this, but also a number of Lego brick buildings as well. Lima Juliet was produced by somebody called Sick Men, or CIC Men. Charlie India Charlie Men, Sick Men. And I think he's done a really good job. I'm saying he, because I don't know whether it's a man or a woman. Actually, I should say they have done a very, very good job of this, whoever they are. I kind of like going out to remote places. Lubyanka is in Slovenia, and what we have here is a fair-sized international airport. So it can take a number of large aircraft, 737, 75, 76, and with no problems at all. And looking at some of the buildings here, you can see some of them are Lego brick buildings, but there's some also custom buildings here. And I like the way that, there's parked buses in the car park. We've got glass walkways, and I'm assuming that these are the auto gates. Yes, of course it is. Though you can see American Airlines 737 with the gates at it. I like just enough kind of ground clutter. Maybe it could do with a little bit more here and there in some places, but just enough ground clutter to make it look like it's real. A bit of a problem here with the photo texture. You look at the size of those cars there, they're wrong. But this fence, I think this is a brilliant fence. I'm not quite sure where that fence has come from. It's obviously come from somewhere, within the object library catalogue somewhere. So maybe I need to go and find that. I think this is a worthwhile download. If you don't fly out to this part of the world, you should. There's some really nice approaches in this part of the world. Nice mountainous area. Not forgetting that the rest of the scenery here is default. So I've only got default scenery on the ground. I don't go racing around the world for photo scenery. I'm quite happy with the default ground scenery. It doesn't look that much different from 30,000 odd feet. And when you're coming into land, all you really need is an airport. So I hope you like this one. I suggest you go and get it. It's free and it's from xplane.org. If there are any companies out there that want to promote a product, get in touch with me. Hit me up on Facebook. You'll find me. As always, my name is Wycliffe Barrett, and we'll see you soon. Cheerio. Yeah.